You know how that old saying goes, whenever it rains, it pours? Well, honey, you've got a big storm coming. Because literally yesterday we found out all of the issues that we've been dealing with as gamers in this space is going to go from bad to, in fact, worse. We're watching in real time as governments and entire European unions are going against everything that we have been wanting since the very beginning. Hell, since I've been covering this for the past 8 months, and watching it all go down in a blaze of glory is not the way this should be happening. We're witnessing in real time as the European Union is getting their palms greased by people like Yves Guillemot of Ubisoft, where just a few weeks back they were all together talking about Stop Killing Games and the initiative that's been going on behind it. And it turns out their new message really isn't what we're actually wanting to hear. On top of that, we're also watching as the United Kingdom is now completely enacting entire curfews and even massive amounts of limitations on social media, especially on the operating system level. Whether or not it's your phone, your game console, your tablet, or anything else you've been wanting to use to play your games, this entire concept is now asking for your ID to be put into the operating system level in order to actually access anything that is social across the board. This is going to be impacting everyone, regardless of whether you play on PlayStation, on your Switch, or even on PC and your Xbox. The problem is, though, it's also going to be impacting other companies who are making their own operating system. Companies like Valve, seeing as how they are making Steam OS to be a Linux fork and still at the same time have to deal with all these issues. Now, it's not the first time that Valve has been dealing with digital ID in the UK. They've had to go ahead and require a credit card to be processed to make any form of payment in that country specifically because of those new laws. The problem is, though, Steam and many other places in the gaming community like Discord and etc. have their own actual social media sections. Steam has its own entire community section. Discord is also placating the entire idea of ID verification as well, and every single game console also has those exact same features: messaging, group chats, party chats, and even forums. All of these things are going to be falling under the UK's law, and it's not going to be a good thing at all in any sense of the word. They're stripping away your ownership, they're removing your entire identity online, and they're requiring you to put in your real name, your ID, or even scan your face, when we've seen multiple times before that these companies do not care about your information, and there has been multiple instances already of those companies getting broken into, hacked, and all that info released on the internet, doxing millions of users. So yeah, we're going to go into an entire headwind in 2026 and even 2027 of what's going to be going on in the gaming space. Not to mention the entire RAM crisis and everything else happening across the board. But to really get into the thick of things, it looks like Stop Killing Games might have hit a wall. And truly, we're in for a world of hurt. Because according to Dexerto on Twitter saying this, Stop Killing Games has failed to secure new EU legislation, despite having 1.3 million signatures. The EU says it cannot propose a legal obligation, requiring publishers to keep games playable after they stop being sold commercially. Brother, what are we even doing here? Oh, I'm sorry. The EU can't tell the game publisher, hey guys, listen, you got to do at least the bare minimum in order to keep these games active, or give the people refunds when you shut a video game down. Looks like Yves Guillemot was out there with the EU, greasing those palms up real nice and sweaty like with a bunch of lard, because clearly this is not the way things are supposed to go. The entire purpose and the plan of Stop Killing Games was to have some sort of actual ownership in a complete digital age, and we're watching it completely erode in front of our faces. Valve had to make Steam put an entire warning when you make a checkout purchase that you are not buying a video game, you're buying the license to play the video game, and those companies can revoke that license from you at any given time, literally putting more ownership and more idea and thought process not only into companies like GOG, but also into people sailing the 7 seas trying to go ahead and actually own their digital games, seeing as how so many other companies are moving to things like pure digital storefronts, Nintendo with their game key cards, and also providing a $10 tax tax increase when you buy purely physical. On top of that, every other game company doing the exact same thing. Microsoft putting out discs that have 85 megabytes of data to your console, regardless whether it's PS5 or even the Xbox consoles itself. And to make matters even worse, every other company is falling into this exact same line. Whatever publisher, developer, or what have you, they're all looking to find other ways of removing ownership from you and then blaming you when things don't sell, when things aren't the right space, and when the entire thing begins to collapse because they're selling you nothing and then rug pulling everything out from under you when they shut the game down. I don't know about you, but regardless of whatever place you play your video games on, you should be 100% absolutely pissed at this concept and this entire idea. The fact that companies, publishers, developers are all doing everything they can to charge you more money on a consistent basis rather than giving you a better product, and then turning around and ripping it away from you, shutting down the servers, removing all the stuff you purchased, and never giving you anything back in return. Not even a refund, not even an offline mode, not even a bots only mode, or even hell, your own private server that you could play the game on yourself if you wanted to, because they'll sue you for that as well. When you think about it, this kind of does explain exactly why so many companies are looking into making more live service games. They have full control of everything, and they keep all your money, even if the game shuts down. But there's more to the article though, so let's see what happened from there. With Dexerto's article saying this, the Stop Killing Games campaign has been dealt a major setback in Europe as the European Commission declined to propose legislation requiring publishers to keep discontinued video games playable. The movement, formerly submitted in the EU as the European Citizens Initiative Stop Destroying Video Games, was built around the idea that publishers should not be able to make games unplayable after ending official support, especially when those games were sold to customers as complete products. In its official response on June 16th, the Commission said it, quote, cannot propose a legal obligation requiring publishers to keep games playable after they stop being sold commercially. Instead, the Commission said it will begin discussions by the end of 2026 with the video game industry and consumer representatives to draft an industry code of conduct for managing games at the end of their life cycle. Look, I'm going to be real. I do not trust anyone in the gaming industry right now, especially after what we saw with the ESA and what they were saying Stop Killing Games actually is, even though Ross completely debunked every single thing this company said. The fact that the EU Commission is not going to listen to anything that Ross and everybody else brought up in SKG, but instead listen to the actual gaming industry makes no sense whatsoever. 1.3 million voices were effectively squashed today because of this. The entire idea of this process was the fact that these companies are doing nothing at all to protect you as a consumer, and then you take your hard-earned money, put that money into Valve, into Steam, into Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, whatever place you want to, and at any time they shut that something down and you are stuck with nothing back in your hands, and they walk away with all that cash, talking about, oh, we didn't sell enough copies. Of course you didn't. Nobody owns the damn thing, by the way. And Ubisoft is king and queen of this stupid kind of decision making as well. How many games have they shut down? How many times have they gone ahead and screwed over customers and consumers? You're trying to monetize you every single time they possibly can. And we're watching it as so many other companies are doing the same thing. You know what it's like that PlayStation has a better backbone of giving refunds to Concord than any other company in the gaming space right now is? PlayStation, the people that implemented massive amounts of DRM in their own consoles because they were worried about digital licensing in their own systems that they literally have the purchasing product for, the storefront for, and they know you bought it. Like, what are we talking about here, bro? It's actually ridiculous across the board how these companies are so against the actual people who they're dying to get their money from. It's wild to see how an entire set of voices, consumers, customers, and everything else simply want to go ahead and just play the damn video game. And if we buy the game, we should own the game. And if you shut the game down, then give us an offline mode for Pete's sake. I'm not asking for a lot, just a bare minimum of ownership of a digital copy. But we can't even have that. We got to buy the license for these things. Absolutely absurd across the board. And the EU listening to the gaming industry, specifically and not the users is the real problem and the crux of this issue right now. With the article continuing by saying this, the code of conduct could include more transparent storefront labeling about possible game discontinuation, along with more partnerships between publishers and cultural heritage institutions to preserve games. However, it would not legally require publishers to provide offline patches, private server tools, or other methods for players to continue accessing games after official support ends. The Commission also argued that existing EU consumer law already provides some safeguards, including requirements around transparency, contract duration, termination conditions, and possible refunds if a shutdown conflicts with the agreement or a consumer's reasonable expectations. The actual stupidity and hubris of these people to go through and act like a code of conduct is going to be enough. And what happens when they break that code of conduct, might I add? A slap on the wrist, a nothing burger happening, the customer still gets screwed in the end? Yeah, no thank you. This isn't how things are supposed to go. You're supposed to protect the consumers from these corporations. And the issue is, these governments are siding with the corpos! But the thing is, SKG might have another ace up its sleeve, because here's what they had to say the other day. With SKG on Twitter quote tweeting the digital EU, saying, "This decision is not unexpected, but we were prepared. Hence, we're pushing forward with Europarl EN amending #StopKillingGames to the Digital Fairness Act. We can move on without the Commission and their non-decision, as at Accursed Farms mentioned before." The fact that Stop Killing Games knew exactly what was going to happen and they even prepared for it shows how completely inept all of these government agencies are and how completely corrupt everything has been on the back end, especially in the gaming industry. I truly feel that because there is a massive stigma attached to video games, that people truly do not care of its artistic medium or the fact that they see it as something completely disposable instead of an actual art form that people will pay hundreds of dollars for every single time a new game comes out. And that's probably why I'm so incredibly upset. This is a medium that I truly care about. I have hundreds of thousands of games on my PC and on Steam. And the last thing I want is for any publisher to go ahead and state, you know what, you can't play that game anymore, even though you paid for it, gave your money to Valve, they put it on your account, you download it to your hard drive. But the problem is, because the publisher doesn't want to keep a server up, you can't even access it anymore. You can't touch it, you can't do anything with it. And that's a huge crime overall. It puts Valve in a position now where they have to say, you know what? This is you're just buying a license. You're not even buying a damn game anymore. But the problem is it's going to get even worse across the board, not only for digital ownership, but also for companies like Valve and Xbox and PlayStation and even Nintendo. Because it looks like what we're seeing right now is that you're going to need to put your ID into your gaming system or PC to even use the damn thing. Because according to Eurogamer saying this, the UK ban on social media and streaming platforms for under 16-year-olds, but the full impact on games and the gaming industry remains unclear. With Eurogamer's article saying this, the list of confirmed impacted websites includes TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, Snapchat, and Instagram. Neither Starmer nor his government have explained which streaming platforms they have their sites set on. At the same time, messaging apps like WhatsApp and Signal are explicitly noted as, quote, not under consideration for the ban. With Starmer saying, quote, parents want to keep their kids safe and happy, but the online world has made that harder than ever, said Starmer. I've had firsthand from families crying out for change, and we will do right by them. That's why we're going further than any country in the world by banning social media for under 16s and putting wider protections in place to give kids their childhood back. I'm sorry, that's a bunch of bullshit. You know it, I know it. Everybody knows it. We're watching as the UK imposing their own laws in their own country is now impacting everyone across the world. We're watching California in the US enact their own social media bans. We're watching other states like Texas, Arkansas, Ohio, Louisiana enact those exact same ideas. And what happens in this space right now? What is one of the top social things that are going on besides YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and everything else? It's video games. Look at Steam. Look at what's been happening there. If you go into the actual community tab, you see nothing but forums, messaging, communications, voice chat, entire chat rooms, everything that people want to use to communicate with each other about playing games themselves. We saw this also happen with Discord on top of it, and every other major company is also going to be impacted as well. Xbox and Microsoft have now added requirements for ID verification, especially in the UK and other countries as well. PlayStation will be doing this soon too, and so will Nintendo. The last one standing is unfortunately Valve right now. And the thing is, they've been fighting this kind of thing since the very beginning. Those lawsuits about loot boxes and gambling, no, those aren't about that. It's about actual ID verification. That's why it's all been going down this way. Why do you think there's always a brand new lawsuit against Steam? This is why, because they're the only ones still being able to go around and stop this entire thing from happening on their own platform. Make things even worse, SteamOS is about to be launched as well, officially with the Steam machine. The last thing I think Valve wants, or anybody else, is to have their ID required in order to access the device they simply purchased because someone like Starmer wanted to go ahead and, quote, protect the kids. With the article continuing by saying this, games also allow players to communicate with strangers. You can boot up RuneScape, Arc Raiders, and thousands of other games right now and talk to people you don't know there. Will the UK force developers of online games to implement these blocks? This ban quite clearly follows the trend established by Australia, which implemented a similar ban in December, but which faced fierce pushback from younger people there. But as we see an increasing number of countries take up such measures, the impact on the gaming industry becomes a bigger question. After all, social media and streaming is largely how gaming companies advertise to younger audiences. This, in my opinion, is absolutely completely ridiculous across the board. The gaming industry wants their cake and to eat it too. Yeah, they'll do everything they can to bend the knee as long as the money still keeps flowing in. Oh no, you don't own that video game, you own a license to that game. Oh, and by the way, we're gonna need your photo ID to play this online game because the government said we needed to because we have to protect you as a user. And let's be real, there is no actual protection. The government doesn't want to do that. They want to have your information, and they want to have that information to every single one of those companies. You know why? So they can snitch on you. That's why. And my biggest concern is what's going to happen with Steam and Valve. The fact that this is also going to be implemented into the operating system level. So no, VPNs are not going to be the catch-all win you think they are. And I'll tell you this, if you honestly believe that the UK and other governments are not going to try and ban VPNs, or that VPNs will save you because of this, then as we say down here in the South, honey, bless your heart. Because what's going to happen is, if this entire thing goes through and it starts impacting other countries or going directly after what Valve and Steam do, we're going to see a huge issue overall. The fact that Discord is falling in line with this, the fact that every other gaming company is falling in line with this, and Valve is the last one standing saying, you know what? No, we're not going to do it. Turning around and fighting every lawsuit back to front to back from every other country, nation, state, government official across the board. How many are they fighting right now? Like 6 or 7? It's actually insane. Because think about it from this perspective. SteamOS comes out. You don't require ID to use that operating system because it's a Linux fork. But then you're seeing that entire space being completely overrun by government officials, mostly because you have an entire community tab, voice chat, online communication, and everything available for you as a gamer to access and make new friends online, regardless of wherever you're from. And that's a terrifying aspect for any government official, literally asking for your ID to verify who you are and what you say online. And the thing is, the mask keeps slipping. Because according to Polymarket, it's saying this, just in, the UK government clarifies adults will still be able to use social media by verifying their identities with digital IDs, facial recognition, passports, and credit cards. So they just admitted it. They literally just admitted that it's not about protecting the kids. It's about getting the IDs of adults and verifying who they are, attaching their online persona to their offline real world one, and then making all those things literally carry over to your real life. So they can go ahead and say, do you got a license for that TV, mate? Well, you know what? You need a license for that game now. Oh, you want to go ahead and talk with your friends on Discord? Gotta have a license for that too. Oh, you want to go ahead and use Steam? Nope. Gotta give your ID and get a license on that. I don't think so, Tim. This entire thing is literally hinging upon the fact that Valve really is the last one standing. And they're going to be the last one standing until, in my opinion, it's going to collapse on them, either by governments forcing them down or by Valve having to bend the knee and make the entire gaming landscape effectively worse across the board. This is not good. We have governments siding with the gaming industry to remove your ownership and access. We then have that same government also siding with the gaming industry, telling them you're going to have to get their ID so we can monitor who they are, what they're saying, what they're doing, and everything across the board, effectively killing one of the greatest hobbies this world has honestly ever seen, in my actual opinion. Valve has to be the one to push back. And unfortunately, I feel like it's going to be a very difficult fight for Valve and Steam to even move forward in this space or provide you any ownership whatsoever. And hell, even any privacy whatsoever on top of that. Back everything up you have. Don't give your ID to anyone. Do not do a facial scan. And if you can find the game you want to play on GOG, then get it there. Or sail the 7 seas. Do anything you can to stop these governments from having access to what you have and what you enjoy in today's gaming space. But hopefully things turn around. Hopefully SKG gets the win that they need to be successful. And hopefully Valve can really put a stop to this entire scam that we're seeing about putting your digital ID everywhere online. But as always, I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comments section down below. Is this a bridge too far for you? Are you going to find other ways of enjoying video games? Or are you going to see what Valve can do to keep your privacy safe and even your games in your own library? I want to hear what you guys got to say. And speaking about what you've got to say, here's the comment of the day from yesterday's video. With ToffeeFan445 saying this: big decisions need to be made, and I don't care who makes them. If Xbox comes out the other side of all of this still intact, then for me, it will be in a better place. Toffee, that's exactly how I feel about all this happening in today's video as well. If the gaming industry can get past this and do the right thing for the customer, we'll all be in a better place as well, especially when the governments get out of our hobby and trying to tell us what to do. But as always, if you guys want to see more of this kind of content though, more gaming hot takes, PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and even live streams, subscribe to the channel. If you want Discord access or emotes during those live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. Look, if you don't want to spend the buck, I get it. Don't even worry about it. Just come on down Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel as I wear a banana suit and get insulted with text-to-speech. It's actually insane. Trust me, the live streams here are bananas. That's right, Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel. Do you want even more of me though? Check out Oh No It's Alex Gaming. Link to that channel is in the description down below. Brand new videos every single Monday, and I live stream there every single weekday, Monday to Friday, 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. Right now, we're playing Stellar Blade and hanging out with you guys, the best community here on YouTube. Come on down, check it out. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!